you for joining us for today's webinar on navigating cybercrimes as a public entity, presented by the CSD Pool and NetDiligence. My name is Mackenzie Keller with the CSD Pool, and today I'm joined by Dave Chatfield and Mike Richoux from NetDiligence. Dave has been with NetDiligence since 2001 and serves as the VP, COO, and team lead for assessment-related services. Mike Richoux is the account manager for the CSD Pool eRisk Hub, and he's been an account and project manager with NetDiligence for the past 11 years. For those of you who are not familiar, NetDiligence is a cyber risk assessment and data breach services company whose services are used by the leading cyber liability insurers in the US, UK to support both loss control and education objectives. Through them, we provide CSD Pool members with access to their eRisk Hub and cyber risk assessments. So today's webinar will focus on public entities and the cyber risks they face, and also we'll go over a bit about how to use the eRisk Hub and what services are available through there. If you have any questions during the webinar, you can put them in the chat so that our presenters are able to see them. We might answer a few of those as we go through, but we will also have time at the end of the presentation to answer any questions that we haven't gotten to. And with that, Mike, Dave, I will turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, and Mike is here with me as well. Thank you very much for taking the time to join today. I see we have a really nice audience of folks all throughout the state, and appreciate the interest here. And of course, questions we'll answer them as best we can. I'm sure there'll be plenty of time after we're done with our formal presentation part of it. And with that, I'll go ahead and get started. Our focus today primarily is on ransomware. It's been a continuing scourge over the last half dozen years. Many of the basics remain the same, although some of the tactics from the bad guys have evolved over time. But a lot of the protections and a lot of the concerns and a lot of the capabilities that are available to assist remain the same. So I'll work my way through these. What actually is ransomware? First of all, the best definition that we have is having your organization's production, application, and data files encrypted so that you can no longer access them without paying a considerable fee. Much of the time, this fee is to be paid in bitcoins. That allow for anonymization of the bad guys so that, frankly, you can't go after them. Oftentimes, organizations will attempt to recover from backups in order to avoid paying that fee, but a heck of a lot of the time, they find that the backups have been encrypted as well. The bad guys don't stop at just what is sitting active on your network. They will try to find where your backup paths exist as well. So at the end of the day, if your backups are corrupted, you may have no recourse except to pay the ransom. Now, paying the ransom, of course, is no technological guarantee that the decryption key that you receive will work correctly or completely. That is always a concern, and that part of it, frankly, hasn't changed. And cyber insurers have been reporting now for several years that ransomware remains the single most frequent cause of loss for their insureds. In terms of what carriers have been doing to try to counteract the losses that they have been taking on for ransomware, they've been paying out extraordinarily high levels of losses involving ransomware infections and other sources for the last few years, and they have been forced to respond. One of the sort of sledgehammer tools that they have in their box is non-renewing cyber policies for insureds who demonstrate that they are significantly under-hardened in their environment. I would say that over the last couple of years, that has been a little bit less frequent than it was, say, 2 or 3 years ago, but it's still very much a standing option for the carriers, especially for folks for whom they've gone through multiple years of evaluations with their cyber policy renewals and have not seen notable progress. In order to provide acceptable premium terms for cyber policy renewals across their entire book of business, carriers are raising the bar in terms of the defensive technology solutions and practices that policyholders are being asked to implement. And some of the practices, frankly, are managed in-house by the carrier. We've seen several carriers. They are known by the phrase fintech. That may be the term that you hear. And what these organizations are entities who try to both provide insurance and provide some of the back-end technology guidance / enforcement mechanisms to make sure that policyholders are attempting to minimize the overall risks. Now I'll go through three very particular remediation technology solutions that underwriters are asking policyholders to implement and make sure that they keep managed. The first one is a next generation endpoint detection and response solution, as opposed to older AV signature detection pieces of software that would basically sit as an agent and only measure a threat against a sort of a hard-coded set of signatures. EDR is much more dynamic in terms of the capabilities that it has, and it is a given today that policyholders are expected to utilize some type of EDR solution in their environments. CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, and Microsoft and FireEye are some of the most notable examples of common EDRs, but there certainly are others out there. These four, CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, Microsoft Defender, and FireEye, I'll hazard a guess, probably occupy 85–90% of the market for this particular product class. The next one talks to backups. A backup regimen that includes, you stay in this business long enough, you'll find that old becomes new again. And in this particular case, it is the process of taking backups so that they cannot be gotten to by the bad guys. Now, that also means that in the normal course, the good guys, you all, cannot just press a button and have a restore come back, because that's the same means by which the bad guys can get to it. There are options such as write once, read many. If you're in this area long enough, worm drive. It's a physical drive that basically allows data to be written, but then no longer altered. The drive becomes read-only once that initial writing has taken place. There are also cloud-based solutions that effect the same kind of outcome. And what they often will do is include a number of one-way snapshots, so that you take a snapshot at noon, at 1 p.m., at 2 p.m., and so forth. And those snapshots for a period of time are retained, and they're retained essentially offline or away from cloud-based network access, so that if you get hit by ransomware or any other kind of failure, for that matter, you can then come back through a set of procedures and get back to the snapshot, hopefully untouched, that can bring you back to your prior regular production state. And then the third one, which I imagine most everybody here has some exposure to today, is the use of multiple factor authentication, MFA, for both administrative level and regular business user accounts for key applications. I'm sure you've encountered this in things like banking and various other high sensitivity environments in your regular activities. And the idea of this is, the old line is something you have and something you know. The something you have is your traditional password, and then, something you know is your traditional password, and then something you have is a smartphone PIN, 4 digits, 6 digits, typically that is sent to you dynamically, which you then enter into an application before it will allow you or the bad guy access to the application that you're trying to get into. There are a couple of ways to do this. The easiest is a traditional smartphone PIN coming to you via a traditional text message. It's still used quite a bit, but there are some disadvantages to it that have allowed bad guys to begin to hijack or make fake reply, be a man in the middle, and in essence, basically tricking you into putting in the PIN that in effect gives them access and not you. Another one that is another method that it frankly is quite a bit more secure, but it also includes some additional steps to do correctly are the use of authenticator apps, Google Authenticator, and several other well-known equivalents. Their position in life is that you pre-register your application with this authenticator app, and then when the time comes that you want to get to it, you open the authenticator app. You say, for example, I want my Microsoft account access. The authenticator app will then give you via their pipeline with Microsoft the actual PIN that you will use, and you have only 30 seconds to use it, after which the PIN will be regenerated. And the idea behind that is to minimize the window in which bad guys can also attempt to do their thing. Keeping that time frame down to 30 seconds or thereabouts does help minimize that type of risk. There are certainly other improvements worth your investment. One, of course, is education and testing for your employees, and also I would say third-party contractors if you're making use of them as well. In this case, it's making sure that your employees learn and follow what Intel founder Andy Grove said a long time ago: only the paranoid survive. And that's a good line to remember when it comes to dealing with email solicitations that may have ransomware launch attack sequences and other types of phishing risks in them. These days, that kind of training typically comes through contemporary online training solutions, as well as periodic phishing testing that you would conduct against your employees periodically to make sure that they are aware and that they notify you first of something that they see, rather than just clicking on an otherwise good-looking email that can have a bad outcome. Vendors such as KnowBe4 and several others can provide excellent options in this area for your teams to make use of. Next one is disaster recovery testing that anticipates extensive ransomware damage scenarios. Disaster recovery planning, of course, is an important element of any sort of resiliency program. Alongside, many of you have emergency operations plans. This one, of course, is on the cyber side of the house. And one of the scenarios that your disaster recovery plan needs to consider is the prospect that ransomware may get to most or all of your production network environments, such that you are back to manual processes to do basic things until data systems can be recovered. Your data recovery testing should anticipate those kinds of scenarios when you are attempting to figure out what the next steps in sequence will be. Next one is incident response plans that incorporate rapid engagement of remediation vendor services. Your cyber insurance policies through McGriff and Colorado Special Districts include prioritized access to experienced forensics vendors and remediation services to help get you back on track quickly following an attack. So If and when you encounter something like this, one of your first calls, frankly, should be back to the CSD folks so that they can help launch some of the options that you may need fairly quickly. Couple of other longer-term type capabilities. One is eliminating excessive retention of highly sensitive and privacy-implicated data. It is no secret that the bad guys have figured out that locking up your files is just one way of causing pain. One other way of doing that is actually taking the data, particularly if it includes employee or customer data, accounts, social security numbers, private, all kinds of private personal data, especially in any cases where there are health-related implications. That kind of data has value both on monetary terms and as a leverage threat. So that say you do manage to recover most of your network environment following a ransomware attack in reasonably short order. You may still have the threat of the bad guy holding on to gigabytes or terabytes of your customer data and basically coming back to you and saying, well, hey, congratulations, you did a good job getting your systems back online. But we're about to publish this entire database of your customer data out to the world. So could you please send us the Bitcoin we asked for in the first place, and we'll happily make that problem go away. The ability to sort of counteract or preemptively prevent that type of a problem is to make sure that the sensitive data that you keep in your environments is relevant and timely. There usually shouldn't be not much reason why you'd be keeping data on your customers that is 5 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old. And we certainly encounter situations in our assessment work where there is no retention policy. Data is just kept forever and ever and ever. And frankly, with data storage becoming so much cheaper these days, it's not that hard to do. But the wisdom of it is quite another thing entirely. And so data retention is something that you should have as part of your compliance and regulatory response capabilities. The last one here is investing in understanding and implementing, where possible, some of the advanced security features that are available within your cloud subscription services. And in this case, Microsoft 365, Amazon AWS, and other platforms. When they sell you a subscription, they typically will sell you the subscription with the basics enabled, but there are often tons of much more advanced security functionality that is intended for management by someone who is properly security trained in the use of those somewhat more advanced features. Now, it is certainly possible that your immediate team may not have the advanced expertise to work those, and in that kind of a case, partnering with your MSP is often the next choice that many Colorado districts will take advantage of, since they have the ability to bring those types of skills to the table without adding to your in-house staffing. So in that respect, MSPs can be really valuable beyond just the basic services that they provide. And that is the end of my slides here. If you could hand it over to Mike, he can take over, and we'll certainly have plenty of time for questions in a bit.
Yes, thanks, Dave. Let's see here. Dave, can you confirm that my screen is sharing?
I'm seeing it.
All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining today. I am now going to talk to y'all about the CSD Pool eRisk Hub, which everyone here has free access to. The registration instructions are in the downloadable files section of this webinar. Before I jump into the content, I just want to talk about registering real quick. So the PDF will lead you here to eriskhub.com/csdpool. If it's your first time in, you will need to register. The key thing to get from that PDF is the access code that allows you to complete registration, pick your username and password, and hit submit. And normally over here would be the login fields. I'm just already logged in. But now let's talk about the eRisk Hub. What it is, it's a free resource to you and your colleagues. Also, feel free to share those registrations with others at your entity. It's a research and education portal that you can come in and learn more about cyber on. When you first log in here, you'll see we land here on this kind of main landing page with some information here. But what I really want to talk about are these menu items over here on the left. Real quickly, the incident roadmap here. This is just a checklist of things that you need to be aware of that would need to be worked through when you're working through a potential data breach. But the key thing here is, of course, to let CSD Pool work with CSD Pool. We also list a breach coach here. Breach Coach is a privacy law firm that specializes in data breach. Y'all are working with one called Norton Rose Fulbright. Um, what they offer though to you is a free half-hour consultation if you suspect there's been a data breach. So they're able to answer those important first questions on what you need to do. Is this a serious event, something you need to deal with, or any of those types of questions. So just so you're aware, this information here is in the incident roadmap. The rest of the content we're going to talk about here is more proactive and educational in nature. First thing we'll take a quick look at here is the News Center. And what we're providing y'all here is a variety of different feeds to kind of let you come in, browse the headlines on what's going on out there in the world of cyber. And if you're curious, all these do link back to original sources so you can read the full articles. So you can see we have a variety of different feeds here on from different sources. And down at the bottom, we also have a blog section here. So here we're just pulling in from about 20 different blogs. Whoever's posted most recently shows up first. Shows up here. We do always list ourselves NetDiligence first. I'd like to point out our blog because we do things a little different rather than us writing our thoughts on what's going on out there. We go out and interview different subject matter experts on different hot topics, and we ask that they respond to these questions for the layperson. So you don't have to be an expert to come in and read from these and learn from them. The other reason I like to point out this blog section is if you're looking for specific content and you're not finding the hub, you got some, you're curious about an area of something, feel free to reach out to us with the contact us form, and we're always looking for suggestions for new posts there. Next, we're going to come over here to the Learning Center here. We NetDiligence, we're partnered with a lot of different vendors out here in this space. We got a lot of relationships out there. So we're able to regularly work with these vendors and add different white papers and PDFs and such to the Learning Center here. If you're looking for anything specific, we do have category select here along the top. But just to focus here on this main landing page, I'll highlight a few things we got here. We got a featured section. You can see most recently it's a couple of posts from us. What we do is we do a big yearly claim study where we work with a lot of the different insurers out there and put together these big industry studies. I'll show you where to find that in the moment. But what these are some different spotlight reports we do throughout the year. So one you might be interested here would be our ransomware as a service, which is the ransomware stuff that Dave was talking about a little bit ago. Down below, you'll find a recent section. Is this, what we've had most recently. A lot of times here, you'll see a lot of different governmental alerts from the FBI or different joint task forces and such. So you're able to come in here and see what the federal government's trying to alert everyone to. And down at the bottom, we have a section dedicated to that cyber claim study I was just talking about. You can see our 2024 reports over here, as well as some additional smaller reports we've done throughout the year. There is a section on a page on public entities in this main study, so that's worth clicking through and finding the table of contents and reading through that. Next, we'll take a look at our security training page. And what we have here is a handful of different content, good high-level training. It's not meant to replace a full training platform that many of y'all have probably had to have worked through before. But if you are looking for some high-level content on things like phishing or business email compromise or any of these things, you can come through here. You see we have a variety of different vendors with their videos. What I like to point out, though, specifically is that KnowBe4 and Goldfish, both of these, are those full-fledged training platforms. If you are looking for one of those, you were able to get 20% off to both KnowBe4 or Goldfish by signing up with them through the eRisk
Wait,
Hub.
Mike, just
Yes.
to interrupt real quick, it looks like the page is frozen on your end,
Oh,
or it's not sharing the updates.
okay. Let's see here. It says I'm sharing. Let's see. What page are you seeing right now? Or were you seeing?
We're
Oh,
seeing
I
the
see what
risk
happened.
logs.
Yeah. So I opened in a new tab,
Okay.
and my apologies there. So
Oh,
I now
gotcha.
realize I need to stay
Okay.
within a single tab.
Okay,
So
perfect. Thank you so much.
no, thank you. I'll backtrack just real briefly here to the Learning Center. I won't go through all this again, but this is the Learning Center that I was talking about here with the category select up here at the top, as well as the featured section, most recent, and claim study. Now I'll go ahead and move over to the security training page here. Here is the sections I was talking about with KnowBe4 and Goldfish down below, where we do have a selection of videos from them, but they also offer those discounts if you're looking for full services here. But scroll back up over here to the right side of the page. We also have a sub page on phishing, so you can get some understanding of what phishing is, examples of types of phishing, red infographic checklists, and such. Let's scroll down here and to round this page off, we also have a free online resources. These are different governmental resources that have free different types of content that you can use as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and move over to the risk manager tools section here. I always like to start this section by saying if you are registering for the hub and you don't have a lot of time to poke around, this is where you should spend your time. This is where across the board, most of our users spend the most of their time, and I'm going to spend a little bit more time than the other sections here walking through some of this content. When we first come in here, some real learning center, you do see we have categories along the top. I'm going to first start off by looking at some of these that we're highlighting here on this main page here. First one I'll come in here is the ransomware impact tool. And what this tool allows you to come in and see is how ransomware is affecting different business sectors. So we'll look at public entities. You come down here, you can see on the info we've got what the average ransom is, the median ransom. Uh, this data is, we don't have good data here, unfortunately, but we do have the percentage of victims who are able to restore from backups as well. And if you're looking for a little bit more of a deep dive, you can even see the different some of the different types of ransomware that are affecting your uh, business sector here. And if you're curious about where we got these data, some of the big forensics folks out here, Ancure, Arete Digital, and Unit 42. Bouncing back over here to this tools section. So down below the ransomware impact tool, we have our claims scenarios tool. The claim study that I was talking about that we put out yearly, in addition to that big study, we also have this research database that allows you to come in and see some of those actual paid out claims from the study. So you can come in here and say revenue size and business sector, and I'll set a public entity, hit show results. And you can see for this filter, we have 237 results here. These are all actual paid out claims. Here at the high level, you're able to see the year, cause of loss, type of data if it's known, as well as the total cost. In addition, you can click into any of these scenario IDs and get a little better breakdown based on what that insurer provided us. We can see here a real public entity payout for $774,000 here, as well as the breakout of that cost. So the way I like to think about these two tools I just showed you, the ransomware impact tool and the claim scenario tools, obviously these both show real costs in your sector. One way you may consider using these as research tools is coming and pulling some of these costs, some of these examples, and showing them around internally to try and make those cases. If you feel you need to spend more resources on your cybersecurity, try and make some of these numbers real to the people around you and show them how much these things can cost. A different tool I want to take a moment to look at here is this ransomware attack scenario. So what this is, we have two different scenarios here. They're web browser based games. And what they do is they put you on the C-suite of an organization going through a ransomware event and allows you or the user to kind of see how these things unfold and some of those decisions that need to be made along the way. So I kind of like to think of it as like a one-person tabletop. Almost you come in here and you or your colleagues could learn more about how these events unfold. Again, bouncing over here to the tools section, take a moment and talk about we have selection of third-party vendor offerings in here as well, different kind of free trials of things. The first one I'll talk about real briefly here is a company called Dark Web IQ. What these guys do, what their paid solution is if you sign up with them, they will monitor your domains on the dark web, these different forums and auction sites where credentials are being sold, and they'll watch out for your credentials. If they see them on one of these auction sites, they'll buy them up with the hopes that they don't get sold again and let you know that they bought them up. Now, what they are offering for free through the eRisk Hub is a 60-day free trial where they won't buy your credentials, but if they do see your credentials, your organization's credentials out there, they will give you an alert, an email alert, so you're able to proactively try and make the appropriate updates to keep those from being used in a malicious way. A few of the other free offerings we have in here. Uh, we do have I believe it's 45-day trial to BitSite. If you're not familiar with BitSite, what they do is they go and score your domains, do an external scan on your domains, and they will let you know what your vulnerabilities are, what kind of patches and updates need to be made. So you're able to come in here, you're able to see your score, you're able to get that report on what vulnerabilities your external sites are having, and you can either if if you're the person who makes these updates, you can go work and get those updated, or you can pass those reports along to those who do need to be making those appropriate updates for you. This is a very popular tool if you're not familiar with them. Like, for instance, lots and lots of insurers out there use them. A lot of big organizations use this BitSite reporting. Coming back over here to the tools, let's see here. Another one I will mention is through an organization called Captain Compliance. They're offering a free cookie scan tool. What this does is it scans your domain and lets you know what kind of tracking cookies your site actually has. So you're aware, just so that you're aware what's on there, make sure that your policies are updated, make sure if there's anything you don't want on there, you can work internally, get that sort of things removed. And the last free offering I will mention real quick down here under the other here is KnowBefore's Phishing Simulator. So what this allows you to do is you can sign up for free with KnowBefore, and you can do one of those fake phishing tests on your colleagues on your team there, and you can do up to 100 users. It'll send out those a fake phishing email, and you're able to see who clicks through on these, so you can do more targeted training and letting people know that they need to be more aware of what they're clicking on in emails. Again, coming back over here to the risk manager tools, I'll take a look at a couple more things here. We do have a library of sample policies. So if you're missing any of these important policies, like the one I always like to talk about is personal device use. So yeah, you got everyone at your public entity as using their work email on their phone, but you don't have a proper policy in place. Come in here, download it. Fill it out, make any updates you want to update, and you're able to implement these policies for free for your get them squared away.
Hey, Mike, I'm sorry. Looks like
Yeah.
some of the pages aren't up with
Oh,
you.
I'm doing it again. I'm so bad about that. I'm so used to opening in new tabs. Thank you. So again, over here on the tools page, policies. This is the list of sample policies I was referring to here. Now, without opening a new tab, we'll look at one more thing over here. Over here in calculators, we have a few different calculators, but the one I like to show off here is the data breach cost calculator. If you've ever used the hub in the past, this is one of our long-standing tools here. It allows you to run scenarios to see how much a data breach could potentially cost. So to work through that, you just work through this top section here. I'll say 10,000 records. I'll leave the rest of these at their default and hit calculate just so you're able to see. You're able to see it comes down here and spits out a whole bunch of line items as well as the total cost and per record cost of this scenario. And you're able to come in, and if you're curious about how we get any of these numbers, you can mouse over the left side. On the left side, there's these little question mark guys. You're able to see what our assumptions are, and if for any reason you even want to customize it or change it, you can uncheck that little guy and zero it out or whatever you might want to do, and hit calculate and get update. You can also print this directly to PDF to include any types of presentations or anything like that. So again, that's our data breach cost calculator here. And we'll look at one more here. Let's see, where's ransomware? Ransomware here. So what we have here is our ransomware readiness, and what this is a self-assessment. It would take someone who's a little bit more technical at your organization to fill out, but they just got to work through these three sections of IT infrastructure, security, and backup and recovery. And you're able to get a scorecard on your overall of how you performed on it, as well as actual recommendations based on your responses. So again, that's our ransomware readiness tool here in the tools section here. I think I'll leave the tools section at that. But again, like I said, if you are coming in here for the first time and you don't have a lot of time, definitely recommend poking around in our risk manager tools section here. Last thing we'll look at real briefly here is our ransomware resources page. And what we did here was we identified 10 of those most important safeguards, some of which Dave were talking about, such as MFA uh, and and such here. What you're able to do is click into any of these different topics here, and what we'll have is a 15 to 20-minute video that gives an overview, assuming you are completely unaware of the topic, to educate you on something like MFA. Obviously, y'all might not have the time to watch that many videos for that long. We do offer a key takeaways section here as well that can also be downloaded and shared internally if you want to share this information with others. And to round it off, after the videos, we also have a Get Help section. So, say you are now aware of MFA and you want to get it implemented, you can get some quotes from vendors that can help you with that if y'all aren't able to do that on your own. And that really covers the content. There's contact us if you got any questions when you're here. Feel free to shoot me an email or shoot my team an email. We'll get back to you. Happy to help any way we can. And to that, I will turn it back over. See if there's maybe been any questions or anything like that.
All right, so since we've reached the end of the presentation, if anyone has any questions, now would be a great time to put those in the chat. I noticed one question asking about the link to that page. If you go to the files section of this presentation, you will see both the presentation slides that you can download and then also a flyer with information about the eRisk Hub, which includes the link and then the access code to get to that. We will also be posting that on our website, and if you can't find it anywhere else or are accessing this in the recorded version where you don't have access to the files, then feel free to contact us at the CSC Pool. We will get that to you. While people are going in and typing their questions, I would like to take this chance to remind everyone that not only does NetDiligence provide provide assistance through the eRisk Hub, but they also provide cyber assessments for those of you wanting to see where your district currently stands with cybersecurity. And the CSC Pool has a limited number of scholarships available for our members wanting to cover the cost of a security health check assessment. For those of you who might be interested in that, I will go ahead and put the link for our webpage in the chat. Let me get that in there real quick. Okay, perfect. And we just found the link for the eRisk Hub. All right. I don't see anyone typing or any questions, so I think we'll be able to call that a day. But as always, if you have any questions, feel free to follow up. Oh, we might have one. Oh, it's just, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, it's been a pleasure having you all here. Thank you, Mike and Dave, for the excellent presentation. And that will be it. A recording will be sent out after this webinar, so you all will have access to it afterwards. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Much appreciated.